mealtime like at your facility?
Mealtime at our center is a time of joy. Our meals are prepared on site, fresh every day. Our staff takes great pride in the presentation and the variety of foods that they serve and how the particular foods for that day complement one another. And our children enjoy the product.
Mealtime is an important time in your child care facility, especially so if you are participating in the Child and Adult Care Food Program, CACFP. In this video, we will describe the different types of meal service, discuss the role of children and staff during meal service, and share best practices for creating and maintaining a healthy mealtime environment. Furthermore, there are important CACFP requirements that must be followed during the mealtime routine. We will discuss what these requirements are and how to follow them. We should begin by understanding that there are two ways that CACFP program participants can serve these meals, using either a traditional pre-plated method or family-style dining.
Pre-plated meal is when Ms. Price measures the foods and put it on the kids' plates already and brings them out already pre-plated.
And that means that on each child's plate we have to put all the foods that we are serving that day, and we have to serve them in the portions that are required for that age group.
To serve a pre-plated food means it is put on the child's plate. The child may not be asked if they want the food or not. It must be served.
It goes by quickly. The teachers can just pre-plate everything, make sure everything's there, put it in front of the children, and the children can get started fairly quickly.
Many child care centers choose this method because it is convenient, it allows for cost control, predicting what foods need to be served and forecasting costs, and it is less time-consuming. Along with the advantages, pre-plating does have its corresponding disadvantages. It prevents children from being directly involved in the process. They are not permitted to decide for themselves what they want to eat or how much, and there may be more food waste and sometimes a need for additional staff to pre-plate each of the meals being served for children.
The disadvantage is that the children don't get really to say, oh, you know what, I don't really know that I'd like green beans today. Can I maybe not try so many? They also don't have a chance or an opportunity to participate and engage in that meal service component.
Child care staff who do not want to use the pre-plated meal service can use family-style dining.
Family style is when the food is put in the bowls and the kids serve themselves and take the amount of things that they want.
For the older children, for the 3s and the 4s, we do the family-style dining. And so then each of the foods is put into a bowl on the table, and the children pass the bowl and serve themselves.
Here, participants serve themselves from common serving dishes of food placed on the table. Enough food must be brought to each table to provide the full required portion size for each participant. Adult supervision is necessary to provide assistance to young children and to set a good example. Supervising adults may pass bowls, steady containers, or help where it's needed.
When we first opened up, we were doing pre-plated all the way through. But by me talking to them, going through the trainings, and realizing this is something that could be fun, and the kids enjoyed it.
Family-style dining requires that enough food be in the serving bowls or pitchers at the beginning of the meal so each person seated at the table can receive the full required serving size portion. If a child takes a larger portion, additional food must be added to the bowl so every child has the opportunity to take the required serving size. The supervising adult initiates passing or offering the food to each child. The child may take or decline any food item. The supervising adult offers and encourages, but never forces participants to take a serving of each meal component. Food items should be passed and offered at least 2 times during the meal service.
So in family style dining, you have the ability to offer only one component in that family style. So you could have a pitcher of milk and everything else is pre-plated, but the children pass around the milk and serve themselves their milk. Or they could serve their own green beans or just one component. That would save on some of the time that it takes to conduct the family style dining.
Implementing family-style dining in your center may require advanced preparation. The cook must have enough time to prepare the meal and ensure all items are placed on the dining table at the same time. The center staff may also want to practice the skills needed to execute family-style dining.
Get your staff involved. Motivate your staff. Talk to your staff. You have to have your teachers involved.
Now let us discuss the advantages and disadvantages of family-style meal service. An advantage of family-style meal service is that it allows for social and motor development.
This is a great opportunity for them to learn social skills, to develop their fine motor skills, and for them to feel good about their growth and development and their independence.
And family style allows the child to be directly involved in the decision-making process. They can decide what to eat and how much.
And it also gives them the ability to make some choices about what they eat and how much they take, and going back for seconds, sharing with the other children, and understanding that there needs to be enough to go around.
And it promotes independence and responsibility.
The children would describe the meal environment as fun. That's a time when they are at the table with their friends and they are simply having social conversation. And when the teachers are talking to them about food, they don't even realize that it is a time of learning and instruction for them as well. Family-style eating helps to foster community.
Now some disadvantages. Family-style meal service may not be appropriate for all age groups of classrooms.
It takes a while to do family-style dining. Admittedly, it's a longer process. Each child gets the bowl and it's passed around and they dip and they serve. And yes, the dexterity for the children is not always as quick as it could be for the children in serving. There's spilled milk all the time because they're serving themselves. So yes, there's a few more mishaps. It takes a longer time, but really the learning and socialization that goes on will hopefully offset the disadvantages there.
Regardless of the meal service style used in your child care setting, there are additional CACFP requirements that must be followed. First, you must display a menu that accurately reflects the meal served. The menu must indicate the meal type, breakfast, lunch, supper, or snack, and the date. This menu can be in each classroom or in a public common area in the child care facility. If changes are made to the menu, the change must be written on the menu to accurately reflect what is served. In addition, you must record point of service, POS. Point of service is a daily count of the number of meals served to enrolled children, taken at the time of service. It is documented once the child receives all of the meal components, including the milk component of a reimbursable meal. It must be recorded and maintained for 3 years, plus the current year, by all participating CACFP providers. A CACFP reviewer will ask for these records during a review.
Point of service and attendance must be separate. Your point of service, which is your check sheet that the children did receive a reimbursable meal, cannot count as attendance.
Monthly point of service numbers are reported so providers can receive reimbursements for their meals. Furthermore, water must be available during the meal service and throughout the day for all enrolled children.
So if a child says, "I'm thirsty, may I please have some water?" then it would have to be available to them.
Our goal is not to just feed children, but rather to meet the child's nutritional needs and create positive eating habits that last a lifetime. Developing healthy eating habits relies on a division of responsibility between children and adults. The adults should consider that they have some specific responsibilities that include choosing and preparing healthy and safe food, establishing pleasant eating environments, and teaching about food and behavior. Let's take a look at these adult responsibilities. First, adult responsibilities include choosing and preparing healthy and safe food.
All of our staff are trained about nutrition. They plan healthy, nutritious meals. We also have a nutritionist who reviews our menus and approves them.
When children observe healthy food practices at our center, it carries over to their homes.
Adults have the responsibility of contributing to a pleasant eating experience.
Another way of promoting a positive climate and environment is the conversation that takes place. We are thinking about our conversations with our children every day. We are interested in what they have to say. And so we're asking them questions to engage them in conversation.
Staff should refrain from adult personal conversations that are not directly related to mealtime. Adult conversations can be a direct distraction and affect mealtime in a negative manner. Conversation can focus on teaching children about food and mealtime behavior.
Our teachers are familiar with the meal pattern and the menu for the day. This enables them to have conversations with the children about the foods that they are eating. And what they also do is they build on that from an instructional perspective. Teachers sometimes take a particular food and build a lesson around it. So the entire staff has responsibility in bringing food and food service alive to our children.
Likewise, there are specific responsibilities that fall to the children. Children's mealtime responsibilities include: they will eat the amount of food they need. They will learn to eat a variety of foods. They will learn independent responsibility. And they will learn proper eating behaviors and manners at the table. First, they will eat the amount they need. Staff members play an important role in helping children to recognize their internal cues of hunger and fullness so that they are able to self-regulate food intake. In other words, eat when they are hungry and stop when they are full. They will learn to eat a variety of foods.
One of the things they learn is to try some new foods. We've had parents come in and say, my child will not touch broccoli at home. I can't believe they're eating it here. Or raw vegetables. Sometimes they won't eat any of those. But there's a little bit of peer pressure to eating food amongst your friends, and seeing other children do it and embrace it gives other children the courage to try it. And that's half the battle. If we can get a child to taste something, then we can get them to eat it.
My children participate what's called the 2-Bite Club, and so when we introduce a new food to them, everybody has to take at least 2 bites.
They will learn independent responsibility.
One of our goals for the children is to become very independent.
Mealtime helps to enhance the responsibility of children in a number of ways. They set the table.
There's different servers, so someone will pour the milk each day and get that started up. Again, with the older children, once they learn how to pour. But all the children have responsibility for their own space.
At the end of the meal, they participate in cleaning up. Every child cleans up their own place, and they take care of one another. They place their dishes on the tray, and if there's a dish that might be falling over, they help to straighten it up.
They will learn proper eating behaviors and manners at the table.
We do have the staff sit with the children, and then they sit and they talk with the children and remind them of manners and ways to ask for more or to ask for assistance, and just to be sure that they're talking conversationally and making it a happy place during lunch. Their eating skills improve, their social skills improve because they're sitting at the table and they're taking care of each other and also talking with each other.
For our children, mealtime can take on an even greater level of importance. For some of our children, these may be the only healthy and nutritious meals that they receive in their day. It may also be the only time that they have someone sitting with them, having conversation, and interested in them and their lives.
There are several best practices for creating a healthy eating environment. First, it's important to use child-friendly items when you have children involved in the mealtime process. For example, child care centers should choose child-sized plates, silverware, utensils, and cups that are not easy to break, and choose cups that do not tip over easily. Serving dishes should include small bowls with a wide rim or lip to prevent spilling. And it is better to separate the same food into smaller bowls so they're not too heavy for children to handle. Second, Parents and caregivers should be encouraged to experience their child's mealtime environment in childcare, either through volunteering, observation, or participation. Remember, by sharing a positive mealtime environment experience with families, these practices can always be transferred to the home setting. Third, it's helpful to create a relaxing, peaceful, and inviting atmosphere where children eat, and this can include any of the following: displaying signage and posters in the classroom to reinforce menu items being served, removing cleaning supplies during meal service so they're not visible, and posting menus that are visible for children, staff, and parents. Finally, food should never be used as a reward or punishment before, during, or after meal service. Giving sweets, chips, or sugar-sweetened beverages as a reward often leads to children overeating foods that are high in sugar, fat, and empty calories. It interferes with kids' natural ability to regulate their eating and teaches children to reward themselves with food.
While you learned about best practices in the CACFP meal environment, let's review the CACFP Mealtime Requirements. Number 1. Conduct point of service, POS, immediately after the full reimbursable meal is served. Attendance should never be used as your point of service record. Number 2. Follow the CACFP meal pattern and serve the correct portion size to each age group for each meal type, such as breakfast, lunch, supper, or snack. For Familystyle Dining, remember to encourage children to take the full portion size. Third, display a daily dated menu that accurately reflects all of the menu items and meal type being served. The menu can be posted in the child care facility and/or in each room. Fourth, always have water available to children during mealtime and throughout the day.
The importance of mealtime should not be underestimated. The more care and love that you put into the process, the greater the dividends. And it can be as rewarding for you as it is for the children.
Thank you for taking the time to view the CACFP Mealtime Environment video. We wish you the best as you continuously try to improve and enhance the mealtime environment in your child care center.